everybody! Welcome back. My headset's not on, is it? There we go. Now I can hear. Welcome back to Bird's Eye Plays. Can only finish the main story on terms. Side quest and download content. Unavailable for any saves beyond this point. Anything you want to do before the end of the prison? Yes, we will save. Yes, so welcome back to Bird's Eye Plays Outer Worlds. It is time to finish this goddamn game.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time.
It'll be fine.
Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident depth, the interior can be chilly. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me. I can make the assurance that I will not leave with another captain unless you do not return within 876,549,652 hours. Oh,
Alright, that's good enough.
Captain, I am...
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a Max. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and no... I wager it'll take a bit longer than it takes you to lose your patience and storm out. To be honest, that'd make my job a lot easier. Come up.
Okay.
Alright. I'm being generous. I'm transmitting the idea of a productive, law-abiding employee. What one looks like. Anyway, Tartarus Docking Authority signing up. Hang on. Another ship. Wait, is that from the groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that.
Transmission terminated. Biometric ID received. How can I... Goodbye.
This works in my favor now. Fuck yeah. And now I can wear my ID. Despite the fact that I really want to just kill everyone. But it's fine. It's fine. As much as I'd love to just kill everybody. Shwoop. No one knows what it's like to be in disguise. The hell? Who are you? But okay. Okay, carrying on.
You new here?
Uh...
Oh, that's... Much.
And it works for me, because those guys are just going to kill everyone for me. Whew. You and me both. I'm just glad my persuasion skill was high enough for that. So you think. Need to stay up here. Yeah, someone come talk to me. I wonder how many times that's gonna work.
Much.
Yeah, I wonder how many times that's gonna work. Probably repeatedly. And despite the fact that I don't think I need to access those yet. Robots in disguise. Sorry, someone just messaged me to see if... Sorry. Yeah, one of my friends just messaged me to see if my work was still hiring. I got distracted for a second. I totally could just go through and kill everyone, but I think what I'm planning...
Hey, you!
Yeah.
You new here?
Uh,
Oh, that.
you're welcome. Get out of my way. Because I do eventually want to play this again to see what the other paths do. Because one of them I do want to go for the board so I could get like other achievements and stuff.
For Monarch! For Halcyon!
Where? Who? Oh, over there. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Hey, excuse me. Pardon me, sir.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah? I don't want to.
good. Cool. I'm really glad that I put all of my efforts into upgrading that stuff. Yeah, because I do want...
Well, look who it is.
What's up?
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus.
What's up?
And I see you brought the kid along. Babysitters may be expensive, but they're worth it, you know.
Yeah, keep talking, pal. I'll just keep thinking of a place to bury your body.
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression.
Keep talking. You'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man.
Oh no, what did you do to him?
Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens go, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle. Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems.
Actually, it will. They're fucking brilliant.
Plans, that's something in the lab codes. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you are you kidding me? I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery.
Nah,
You're just getting in
no.
the way. I'll admit, there's no short...
Oh.
I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm... I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused. Fine. If you survive.
Oh. I didn't think this would actually work.
Are you out of your mind? Rockwell's the biggest monster in HALCYON. You got any idea how many lives he's destroyed? How many people he's hurt? I've had enough. You even think about cooperating with this animal? And you and I are finished.
Alright, yeah, you're right.
You're damn right it is.
If you're gonna place more faith on this brat than the chairman of a fucking colony, then there's no hope for you.
Sorry.
Get yourself killed.
The loyalty of my people is more important. Hey, Chairman. Question. Do you fear death? Good news! Chairman's dead. What's up, guys? Sorry. Sorry. Walking her through what she's going to need to apply. What is that? Just gonna whoop, thank you. There we go. All I needed. What's up, guys? Whee!
Calm before the storm and all that.
Yeah.
Boss, I'm ready. Do this.
Are you, though? Mm-hmm.
Captain,
Whoa.
you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life.
What's up?
You've disrupted the balance of power.
Eh.
You've upset the natural order of things.
Eh.
You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
Are you certain of that?
Do you imagine you're meeting some grand revolutionary army?
Yeah.
Those barbarians from Monarch are running wild in my prison. I suppose I have you to thank for this indignity.
Yeah.
You're nothing but a rabble-rouser. I'm going to put an end to your little rebellion, and then I'm going to have you and your associates arrested.
Meh.
The board is the only legitimate power in HALCYON. We are HALCYON.
Eh.
I admit I miscalculated the extent of your influence. The board's... I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation... I'm aware of your propensity for violence. I take no pleasure in this unit, leaving you alive. I had a feeling you... This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight. And don't worry.
Good thing I'll be in that's sealed. Nah. TV. Question is, will the disguise work, or Do I actually need to...
Nimble fingers, Captain.
Thanks. Damn it. I'm in. Disintegrate RAM as the hostile... Ooh, okay. Well, let's go help.
Here I come.
No! What do you know? I win. Thank God for my hacking skills. Holy shit. Here I come to kill you all. Hehe, hehe, hehe.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akane was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are
See.
absolutely out of your mind. I can't begin
maybe.
to thank you enough. I know, my friend, I know. And now it's finally over. The board's finished. It's only... You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony. You and I are going to have to work hard.
Okay.
Earth has gone dark.
Uh-oh.
We haven't received a single message in 3 years. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they did.
Hold on, Doc. You telling me the Earth went dark 3 years ago?
He just said that.
Covering this up?
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in...
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to...
You're quite right. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
You've done a marvelous thing. You must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the hopes of bright. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't tell. When I revived you, we can't save Halcyon. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive.
We will win. I'm sure of it. Ow, my finger.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together. and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardened. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclast spread like wildfire, and Graham was able to bring many of the smaller territory townships into the fold. However, his zealous obsession with spreading the word blinded him to the needs of a growing organization, and the movement was unsustainable in scale. The iconoclast way seemed to work best, and ultimately petered out on Monarch. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took sublight salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the sublight family together. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the host scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter.
Aww.
Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the host and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable reality about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. The destroyed Adrenatime synthesizer became a symbol of the board's cruelty and a rallying point for Wells and his scientists as they sought to build a more humane, ethical Halcyon. They cleared the dead from Gorgon's laboratories and repurposed them to aid in the crucial work of solving the colony's nutrition crisis. The Gorgon Project's final explosive end was bittersweet for Olivia Ambrose. She wandered the colony's fringes alone, searching for others like her who despised the board and meant to destroy them. In time, she found Phineas Wells and his cadre of scientists, and she joined them in their efforts to save Halcyon. For a while, she even knew an uneasy peace. But for all that, Olivia found purpose in Wells' project. She was always haunted by the memory of her daughter, Minnie, who hadn't lived to see the better world they were building. She never did forgive herself for the horror her work had wrought on Halcyon. But she remembered fondly the daring captain who put an end to it at last. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity. humanity's most ambitious effort. The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. Needless to say, the launch of Spectrum Brown was indefinitely delayed.
I mean, no shit, it was poisoned.
A pile of Spectrum Brown remains buried deep beneath the ruins of the old distillery, abandoned to time and attrition. With the dissolution of the board, Ruth Bellamy found herself without the two constants in her life: Byzantine culture and her sister, Belinda. In the face of this new reality, she struggled to find a direction for her life. The colony had moved on from Halcyon Helen and would require new heroes in the years to come. And so, Ruth Bellamy decided it was time to exit stage left. She quietly disappeared from public view. The dissolution of the board did not mean the dissolution of the ambitions of Cedric Kincannon, the charismatic leader of Sublight Underground. Cedric offered slugs transportation services to the newly thawed colonists and set to work ferrying resources and food wherever they were most needed. For better or worse, slug headgear became fashionable in the following year. As the board began to disintegrate, Spencer Woolrich found himself at a crossroads. Cling to what little stardom remained to him, or help usher Halcyon into its new future. To the surprise of many, perhaps himself most of all, Spencer chose the latter option. Having learned a variety of different skills in the many different roles played throughout his lengthy career, Spencer founded a radio serial dedicated to staying alive despite the odds. His subjects included how to survive violent encounters with only grazing wolves, dispense pithy one-liners for tense scenarios, and, of course, how to look good doing both. After a brief attempt at dating Helen as one person rather than two, which both Bertie and Helen found too strange, Bertie struck out on his own to try his hand at raising woolly cows. Many of his former Rangers teammates soon followed, accompanied by the woolly cow the team had originally plied with alcohol. The dairy farm thrived under Bertie's leadership and care. The Dairy Rangers privately believed that the woolly cow softened Bertie's temper considerably, although the only one brave enough to say this to his face was promptly headbutted.
Right, that makes sense.
Many of the profit-old customers no longer found quite the same value in productivity seminars that they once had.
Of course not.
With her business drying up, the prophet chose to take her followers down a new path. Months later, salvagers on Eridanos found clues leading them to a seemingly abandoned bunker out in the wilderness.
Oops.
Inside, they discovered horribly mangled corpses, sacrificed to a blood-scrawled portrait of a sprat-headed deity. The prophet was not among the bodies. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable.
Oh, now it's time for my friends. Okay, great.
She returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. After all he'd seen and heard adventuring with you, the vicar Maximilian de Soto renounced his faith and joined the effort to rebuild the colony. Ironically, he finally found the joy that had eluded him over the course of his life, and realized that perhaps he was always meant to be just a simple laborer after all. He quickly dismissed the idea. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer.
Hell yeah.
Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail, or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in HALCYON? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping HALCYON manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab.
Makes sense.
Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals he stole from the ministry.
Fuck yeah.
Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull HALCYON from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in HALCYON. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of HALCYON carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of HALCYON? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but HALCYON survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you.
Yay!
No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for HALCYON. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
I like that. That was kind of cool. Getting to see everyone's path afterwards. Well, I do have to say, as I'm noticing that apparently my mic has been really loud this whole time, I liked this game. You know, obviously, yes, I had some issues, specifically the fast travel and the map. That was dumb. And not having a level cap. Or having a level cap, sorry, and not being able to level up more. But overall, I did really like this game. It had its humor. It was just very fun. I will say though, with all the elements that are in this game, it feels very much like Borderlands meets BioShock meets Red Dead Redemption, because of the the reputation that I had with all the different people and places and stuff. But I didn't mind that. It was a lot of fun, and so I'm curious to see what happens if I play through it, like going a different path. Because I do want to play through it and support the board and see what happens there. Pretty much just do the opposite of everything else that I've done. And I just also want to go through and just kill everybody and see how that works. And more than likely, I'm going to fail every quest. But I'm just curious to see what happens. Is there... There we go. Yeah, I don't need you to remind me of that. Well, that is where I'm going to end this. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Next time on Bird's Eye, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Because I do still have some time before I move into my girlfriend, so I might find something that I have to play. But who knows? Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.